Hello viewers, welcome to another edition of AfriKids TV Spotlight Show. I am Mariama Kamara, your host. Today, the person joining us is an amazing and inspiring young man who rise from a humble beginning to a seasoned journalist. He has over 7 years of experience in journalism. Now, let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Kebba Jeffang to the Spotlight Show. Welcome, Mr. Kebba. It's so good to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay. Mr. Jeffang, please explain yourself to the viewers.
Thank you very much. Let me just first and foremost take the opportunity to welcome all of you to Malagan. This is an investigative journalism platform. Welcome. So I am Kebba Jeffang, as you said. You pointed out very clearly, aptly. I'm a journalist. I started my journalism practicing. I started practicing journalism in 2013. When I started, I started working with Forea newspaper. I think all of you must have known Forea. It's one of the dailies, national dailies newspaper in the Gambia. So from there, I worked there up to 2019 when I resigned and then went to the Chronicle. Chronicle is actually an online media platform that existed. So there I was actually serving as a business reporter. But when I was at Forea, I was actually focused more on politics and legal affairs reporting. That actually took me to be the presidential correspondent for Forea at the time. So at the Chronicle, I became business, focused only on business reporting. But sometimes I do, cover other areas apart from business. But business is my focus. So it was until December 2020 when I left the Chronicle. I joined the Malagan. This is an investigative platform. The idea was conceived by a friend, and then that we should actually set up something like this, and then, eventually we are here.
Wow. That was interesting. So what was your first attempt after finishing senior secondary school?
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate that question. I mean, journalism is something that, I found inbuilt within myself. Like it's a passion when I was going to school. I remember I'm part of the people who actually set up press club in Mindao Senior Secondary School, where I actually graduated. We did that because I had a goal of journalism at the time. It was just a dream. So immediately after finishing school, high school for that matter, what I did was to go to go and then develop myself in the areas of journalism. And there I went to Stratford College of Management. That's where I studied mass communication. It's actually related to journalism, but not entirely on journalism. So from there, that is where I sought a certificate. From there, I got my diploma at Institute of Professional Administration and Management. We call it IPAM. These were all vibrant journalism school in those days. Yeah, so that was my first start. So from there, like I said, I went to Forea, applied for a job, and then they took me, So from there, I was a trainee court reporter. That's where I started because I'm a journalist who actually do not want to be focusing on other issues like workshop and other programs. I always fancy events that will educate me. So court is one of those areas. So I started with, as a court trainee in court reporting. So from court reporting until 2016 when election was coming, I was removed from that department by the management because they saw that now political area is more tense. So I was focusing on politics in 2016 because, like I said, this was election year. Everything was actually mainly focused on politics. So this is where I started off. So until after the change, 2019, I started a new job at the Chronicle. It's also an online platform. So from there, and then I came here.
Wow, that was interesting. You mentioned that you have been part of the Mindao's press club. Okay. So what was your achievement as well as your challenges being part of the Mindao's press club?
Yeah, so this was just set up. So it was a new idea, in our environment, in our school environment. We did not have a press club before, so when we form press club, it is always challenging in schools. Most of you, who have come, through press club setups in schools, you realize that sometimes there is problem between management, school management, and the students who are part of that. Simply because the fear of the media at the time. I'm talking about political change in the Gambia, when dictatorship was highly entrenched in the country. Nobody actually could speak your idea the way you want to.
Right.
So it was difficult in our own area there. Administration was not actually too welcoming of the idea. But then we pushed and then we convinced them. We did not force. We convinced them that this is extracurricular activity that will actually shape the minds and heart of people, and then make career selection for people also easy. So that was the whole idea. And then that challenge, actually we overcome it, and then it was all okay. But the success are there. I mean, I'm a success of this story. The fact that I passed through the press club and then became a journalist, I think that's a big success. Not only me, you have a lot more people just like I am, who also passed through that, setup. Today they are journalists. When I met them in the field, we always discuss about it, and then from then on, we go and then sometimes give them training. The young ones who are there now, we go there and then offer trainings to them, basic news writing, things like that. Not only that, but then we have been doing this thing to other press club, because you will also know that I was one time the president of Young Journalists Association of the Gambia until last year December, when I handed over. So what the whole idea of that organization is the same as press club, is to inspire journalists, young journalists or aspiring journalists, to make sure they realize their potential. That's what we used to do, and then that's the whole organization still remains in function. They are there. So in that, I built a lot of connection with a lot of people who I mentored. They become journalists today. I'm meeting them in the field today, because as president, as an association, what we used to do is to go there and then have that rapport with them. Schools like Nusrat, Gambia College, Mayok, Kotu Senior Secondary School. I have rapport with all these, press clubs, and then we do go there, offer them training. Today, those are the people who are actually flying the media.
Oh, that's wonderful. So what inspired you for you to study journalism?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I did not come into journalism by accident. Like I said, I have a passion for it from the outset, and then there are reasons. For me, the fundamental thing, anybody who asks me, anytime people will ask me this question, but the answer remains the same. I just want to be free to express my opinion through writing.
Yeah, that's right.
That is why I choose journalism. I felt that, being part of a setup that does not allow people, a system that does not actually allow people to express their feelings, it's a situation I cannot actually be part of, So I just want to be at liberty to sell the stories of other people, the underreported matters, that are affecting my fellow Gambian people, taxpayers, and then, if I see that their monies, they are being collected, and then their due diligence is not actually applied onto it, then I have a duty to report those things. So this is my inspiration for journalism. I just want to tell the stories of people who really matter, as far as their tax payment is concerned, which should plow back in the name of development. But if it does not, then I hold them to account.
That was an amazing speech. Anyways, do you think children should take journalism as a career, and why?
It is important for children actually to partake in journalism, from the outset. It's about preparedness, we need to prepare them, to be a good journalist tomorrow, because the future is actually there for them, not for old people. So people like us in the next 50 or 60 years, we are out. But we talk about young people, definitely the whole future is there for them. So they really need to be developed career-wise. But what is also very essential is to help them, shape their career path that they will choose. And then this is very, very important when you have press clubs in schools. That's one of the ideas. We have press clubs. It shapes people, especially the young ones, to know what future actually holds for them in the media. That's why when I was president of YJAC, I make sure that I go to most of these schools we are affiliated with, and then we share stories with them, positive stories that will motivate them to choose journalism. The advantage, the opportunities that are actually existing in the media, so that they will not see journalism as a fruitless exercise. They will see benefit, in it. So it's quite important. All those are done just to motivate them, and also to build, to shape their mentality, to take journalism, as a serious, industry. It's not a fun to be journalist. I mean, it requires a serious people, and then those serious people, we cannot have them in the media when those children are not well prepared at the right time. So that is actually why we needed them to be trained on journalism.
Anyways, let's have a short break for now. We'll be right back. Stay on tune. Hello, welcome to AfriKids TV. AfriKids TV brought to you different types of kids programs. Wow, like education, sports and games, arts and crafts, talk shows, interview, quiz competition, Friday special, fashion and tailoring, entertainment, health and many more. Please, I urge each and every one of you out there to subscribe to our channel, AfriKids TV. Thank you. Welcome back to the second segment of the Spotlight. So, now, Mr. Jeffang, you were telling us that you once worked in Fourier newspaper. So tell us more about it.
I mean, Fourier, to work there, I mean, it's a university for me. I consider Fourier like a university because it exposed me to a lot of things beyond journalism. Because why? You asked me earlier what motivates you to be a journalist. I gave you the reason. But now if you ask me, what have you found most interesting in journalism, I would say learning about issues. You see, when you are a journalist, you learn everything. You become more informed. You become a more informed citizen because you are dealing with a lot of things. So at Fourier, this was the opportunity available to me. Like we have a library, where you can really read extensively. At Fourier, you have issues, you have intellectuals there who you can actually share a lot of things with. That's so right. Those are good memories that I have really cared for. I think I will never regret having those experiences at Fourier. Beyond all that, I mean, it's the platform also that made me known to the world because, like as a political reporter there, you deal with top people in the country. I was actually dealing with a lot of people. I had a lot of interviews with the president directly, one-on-one interviews. I think 3 times. That's an opportunity I have never had in my career, to sit with the president, interview him on issues. I pressed him hard on issues until he himself will tell me, you are not fair to me. I remember those quotes from him. So, you see, this is journalism. This is what actually Fourier did to me. And then apart from all that, I won awards there through my writings.
Wow.
I have won 2 awards, National Journalism Awards, 2 times, through my write-ups at Fourier. So I am ever grateful to that institution.
Oh. So, what were your successes and achievements? I guess you have talked about that, yes, but we would like to know more about it.
Yes, so this success is to, I think people will tell that more better than I can do. But honestly, I think my stories have really impacted on the lives and livelihood of Gambian people, especially women, for instance. I did a lot of reports on issues of petty businesses in the country, trying to put their plights, to the surface so that, government and authorities can take actions on, those things have yielded positive outcome. And then today, I think I'm grateful ever to those kind of things. But apart from that, in terms of success, I think people who I think the Gambia Press Union actually set up an award for that. You know, they do this annual award, try to recognize journalists who have been doing tremendous job. You know, as far as ethics are concerned. So for 3 times I won those awards. 3 years, 3 times. You know, I remember I won two. Business Reporter of the Year on a consecutive years. You know. Apart from that, I won cultural reporting also. So I think those are successes.
What inspired you to be a fact-checking journalist?
Yes, so the inspiration actually on fact checking came when I learned about fact checking. You know, I'm a Majak product. I went to Majak. You know, when I went to Majak, Majak is an acronym for Media Academy for Journalism and Communication. It is a school owned by Gambia Press Union. You know, it is in Fajara. So I was trained there. You know, so but there are values the school have, and then those values include, you know, be truthful, honest, and then things like that. Just like journalism actually would have.
Yeah.
You know, so and verification process. You know, so when I learn about those things, I realized that, you know, a lot of things that have been happening in the Gambia is not actually in line with those values. For example, you know, people do not verify information and then they will just share it. That's not professionalism. So, but then the whole thing actually came ahead of this year's election. Sorry, last year's presidential election, this past December. We realized that as an institution here at Malagan, we realized that we should actually shift attention on fact checking, and then we therefore dedicated, you know, a full department, you know, a full unit that monitors the media and then what is being said on the media platforms across the country. You know, this also include the campaigns, the political leaders, what they are saying, whether their speeches, whether their campaign messages are misleading, they are untruthful, whether they are making unverified claims, whether their claims are even dangerous. Dangerous mean inciting, you know, especially, you know, tribal sentiments, and we raise all those things and then make sure we put it out. When whoever speaks, if you actually speak incorrectly, we used to write it at Malagan here during the election process, and then to say that, you know, this candidate actually said this, but it is not true, you know, and then we explain. So that helped in diffusing, you know, election tension in the last December election.
Okay. Do you find it difficult to find out facts, especially during politics, before exposing it to the media or public?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fundamental principle in journalism. I know people actually waive it, you know, actually, but it should remain. And then for us here, that is fundamental, because if you look at the way we report, we are a dedicated investigative journalism platform. So therefore, if you investigate people, you are indicting people. You are telling the whole that, you know, this guy actually is found to have engaged in corruption or corrupt practices. So if you fail to verify those information and then you put it there, that is like you are shaming and then, you know, endangering your own life, because your professionalism will be questioned. So that's a self-indictment. So as far as we are concerned, or I am concerned, professionalism, which goes to check, you know, facts, verify facts, you know, before you put it out there, is very fundamental as far as we are concerned.
So it means one should be very careful.
One should be very careful, because journalism is all about integrity. Because your whole thing is like you are giving information so that people will learn new things. People will find that this is what is happening in my environment. That is news, right? So if you are found to be giving false narratives to people, once they realize that, you know, all he has been saying is false information that he has been supplying us, they are going to abandon your platform.
Definitely,
they will go for credible thing. So that's why, you know, it is very incumbent on any journalist to state the fact as they are. You know, even that will take you to, you know, keep that story for 2 months or 3 months until you find that fact. You don't need to publish it.
I think journalism should take that as an advice.
So, yeah.
So what advice do you have for children who want to study journalism?
Yeah, so take part in the press club businesses because they are very important, So you do that. That's first advice I would always give. Secondly, try to make um, established people in the media your friends. These are quite important. You can learn from them, their daily routine on how they do it. But also what is very fundamental is to keep reading, because journalism is all about reading. You have to read. You have to know what is happening around your area. This is one way that will actually put you in the, that will trouble you to become a journalist, because you need to be in the know of all what is happening in the Gambia, in your country, in your environment, what is happening everywhere. Your health, in terms of health, in terms of health services, how they are giving it, how they are dispensing it, in terms of your economy, how market women are struggling in the market, how prices are escalating every day, how the salaries are very low in the Gambia. Those are things you need to be aware with. You need to be in terms with those realities. There you will be motivated yourself to know that, because what will lure you into journalism is that you have seen something that is not correct, and you want to make people know about it so that action can be taken to correct it. You understand? So once you know all those things, you are self-motivated to be a journalist. But then what is very key is to keep reading. Keep read books, keep read newspapers, keep following even the international publications.
Yeah, those are the steps. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jeffang. It was a pleasure for you to be interviewed on our social media platform. Well, viewers, as you can see, this is what we have for you. And please, like I said, AfriKids TV is not only here to educate, but to entertain and also inspire. Please like, share, and subscribe to AfriKids TV. This is what we have for you. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Thank you.